The only thing with the Mad
and
Dog
you have a
is
speed advantage of a Mad Dog.
the only thing with the Mad
Being, I
Dog is
believe
that
it's
especially on
base
vertical.
35, which puts it faster than every other heavy mech there is, except for the
Except the
Loki.
Loki.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm
Yeah,
wrong on
base
that one.
35.
Destruction.
The only thing with the Mad Dog is that if you're on a vertical map, you basically have to use the Mad Dog.
Yeah. And another thing that the Mad Dog kind of struggles with is ranged fights. It's purely close range. Maybe mid-range if you want to stretch it a little bit, but it's mainly a close range mech. And
It
you're not
depends on
going to
how
do
good
well.
you are at hitting your autos, but yes, close to mid-range.
Yeah, if you have to like learn how to, lead your shots with the Mad Dog, I think that kind of knocks it down a bit from being S tier or even A tier. But I think it could go up in A tier.
I'd say Mad Dogs are a low tier A, I'd say, at the least.
Yeah.
Because
Every time I play a
Mad Dog does have a lot going for it, because with its speed alone, it allows you to get close range and remain close range even against a fleeing opponent. It does suffer a little weakness when it comes to maybe light mechs because it can be a little harder to hit, especially for new players.
Yeah, new players can struggle. But if you're a good player and you main this mech, it is the best light killer you could ever ask for. For null sig mechs, you have your pulse lasers, which can break null sig. You can just get all up in their face with the SRMs. They can't really hit you back because you've got target jammer and you got your speed working for you. And against heavier targets, you kind of also eat them up if you can close the gap. Because SRMs, autos, lasers, all of that, you could bring down an Atlas without too much effort. It just tends to struggle against bad cast, catapults, stuff like that. And also stuff with target jammer. That kind of hard counts it. So honestly, A tier. We put respect on the name of the Mad Dog out here.
Yeah, Mad Dog's good.
Alright, what is next? Owens. Allow me to speak on behalf of Owens. I think this is also a huge skill check. C tier easily.
Oh yeah, Owens. You have to be. You have to really know how to be. Owens. Say.
Oh, yep. I was the guy that really promoted the Owens in vanilla.
Yeah.
My videos and all that. And then people started catching on in rebounds. But they saw how good I could do the Owens. But ow. It being me, I know how to take fights and when to leave. And of course I get knocked, but who cares about that?
Yeah, I got lucky on that. If I hadn't knocked you out, I'd have died.
That being said, there really isn't much to talk about the Owens in terms of, the stuff that you break it for.
Yeah, Owens benefits from target jammer and high speed mainly.
Yeah. But
And,
you really have to know what you're doing.
Yeah, the machine guns, they don't do too much for it. What you have mainly is, unless you're upgraded, what you mainly have is your crossbows, which are pretty decent. You just, it's one of them mechs, one of those mechs you really have to know how to use, basically.
I'm never going to be recommending
Use
this mech to
speed to
new
your
players
advantage.
because they need to get used to wall walking and they need to get used to how fights play out. So, yeah.
It's just like.
Would I rank it above the hitbox though? I don't know.
I would say it's easier to use, but okay, maybe very low speed.
I'm not gonna put it in B tier. No way. Owens is not going in B tier. There's just a lot that you have to know before you can actually even think about picking it. And I'm not saying oh, you shoot your weapon, but weapons go burn. No, you have to have good game sense, and you also have to know when to use the O, because you can't use it in every match. It has a certain skill set that you can only use in certain situations, this team comp has a lot of heavies, and they don't have target jammer. or even Ubers. If the enemy team comp has Ubers, then the Owens does really good against them. But if the team comp has something like a Mad Dog, don't pick the Owens. You're gonna get eaten alive, even with your target down.
5 minutes remaining.
I might even like end up doing a whole video on like explaining specifically how to play the Owens. Me being the Owens guy, but the fact that it requires that means that it is inarguably safe.
You know what, that would, spontaneous thought, that would be a great idea for series, either on Big Talk's channel or on the Resort channel. Expert commentary or expert players to have like Dan Truck do like how to play the Bitcoin, have you do how to play the have me do how to play the Bitcoin.
Oh, if it's gonna be like multiple people talking about it, then I think it would be better to put on Reborn. If it was just me talking about every mech, then it would go on my channel. But if you're gonna do it like that, then yeah, Reborn would expose a lot more people.
Have like, I would say have like one video on
expert voices. I mean, I'm gonna do my own thing, but if you also want it to be on the Reborn channel, then that works too.
Good idea.
Or even have Rev talk about like how to play Vulture. Yeah, that's something you could also fit in there.
Yeah.
Because we all have, most of us in this community have a specific name that we use a lot.
Yeah.
If anything, if anybody could trust on how to use a mech, it would be us.
So
What mech is up next?
Would it be
Promi. No, Prometheus is next.
Well, for me, we have, what is it? Three lasers, 2 hammers,
Three lasers,
and 2 gauss.
And the flare.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ability is the AMS.
Oh.
So,
Well, Comedy for starters, it is big, it is slow, has a lot of health, and can do a lot of damage in the right situation.
Yes. But I feel like the Promi is kind of like the Mad Cat in the sense of it's not a killer. It's a puncher. You're gonna want to punch with it.
I don't know about that one
Promi's
because
kind of a killer, I think.
yeah.
In the right hands, if you're good with those hammers, and you got level 3 range of 2 hammers at a time,
Yeah,
you're doing
honestly,
some serious damage.
the previous statement.
And it's also a good
I come-
area denial mech, such as like for objective game modes.
I come from the era where we just did Ubers all the not even Ubers, just anything goes because you had team calls with up to 4 Promis. That's disgusting.
Oh no.
So it
I'm
was
trying to
obviously
think
meant to
of
be
all
one
the
of the.
times that I've played. I can only think of one time when I've ever played the
Oh.
Can you think of more than once when I, like way back in the day when I was basically forced to because you didn't.
I don't remember.
There was one match.
it-
It was on Town. Of course, it was on Town. Super Splendid basically said that I couldn't play my style because it was too light. So I had to go from that path. And that just gave such a bad game. I don't think I've ever played that back again.
And the fact that you as a new guy did horrible in the Promi speaks to how, you know, it takes points off its usability. Again, it's not something I recommend new players take because the responsibility of carrying your team goes upon you when you pick the Promi. They expect you
Only
to
is
be
for the
able to carry.
experienced users only.
It's a carrying mech, but it's a mech that can be easily taken down by the right player.
Yeah. Or by playing anti-meta like me. I had an Olin and I was able to, you know, counter
1 minute remaining.
Promi, Miser I believe, pretty easily because that's not something he experiences all the time. So, just saying. A lot of things going against the Promi, a lot of things going for it. That sounds like low A, honestly. Because if I was ever to tell a new player what to take in, we were in a situation where we had to go up against
30
sweaty
seconds remaining.
planners and reformats. I tell them to pick the bad cat over the poor meat. 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
So,
But it's definitely not the worst of the Ubers.
I mean, you can't really call an Uber bad.
True.
There was a time where you could have a bad Uber, but that was a long time ago.
Oh, good one.
It was, yeah.
Darn it! You killed me literally as the timer expired.
I'll put it there.